Okay, so we're going to get started, and I'm going to start with one sutta and then go on and do a few others and kind of show you what we're going to do. But the first sutta is the one that should motivate all human beings to practice and to use this valuable time to practice. And I'm sure many of you have heard this, but it's kind of a fun one, so let's listen to it again. It's from the Samyutta Nikaya, number 47.7, and Samyutta 48.8, yoke with a hole. Bhikkhus, suppose a man would throw a yoke with a single hole into the great ocean, and there was a blind turtle which would come to the surface once every 100 years. What do you think, bhikkhus? Would that blind turtle, coming to the surface once every 100 years, insert its neck into that yoke with a single hole? If it would ever do so, Venerable Sir, it would only be after a very long time. Sooner, I say, would that blind turtle, coming to the surface once every 100 years, insert its neck into that yoke with a single hole, than the fool who has gone once to the netherworld would regain the human state. For what reason? Because here, bhikkhus, there is no conduct guided by the Dhamma. And he's talking about the lower realms. No righteous conduct, no wholesome activity, no meritorious activity. Here there prevails mutual devouring, the devouring of the weak. For what reason? Because, bhikkhus, they have not seen the Four Noble Truths. What for? The noble truth of suffering and so on. Therefore, bhikkhus, an exertion should be made to understand this is suffering. This is the origin of suffering and so on. An exertion should be made to understand this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So this is the famous, the turtle in the entire ocean of the earth goes up and finds the yoke that has been thrown out into the ocean somewhere, and it comes up every 100 years, one time. And the chances of you coming up out of the lower realms into human birth, once you get down there, is less than the turtle coming up and hitting that yoke and going through it and poking his head up. So take this seriously, do your practice, and make sure that you don't go down and you're always going up. So I'm going to share the screen here. Oh, shoot. Let's see, hold on a second. So today is the end of the retreat, December 11th, and I'm going to read a few more suttas, and then we're going to go through some of the important things that you want to keep in mind after the retreat and just, during your life. So the three main issues in Buddhism are Sila, Dana, Bhavana, or Panna. Sila is morality, Dana is generosity, Bhavana is meditating, and Panna is wisdom. And, of course, wisdom through meditation. Okay, we're going to go back and to the introduction here. And, all right, so let's see. All right, so I found this introduction on the access to insight, and it's something that we should keep in mind. It says, you want long life, health, beauty, power, riches, high birth, wisdom, or even some of these things. They do not appear by chance. It is not someone's luck that they are healthy or another's lack of it, that he is stupid. Though it may not be clear to us now, all such inequalities among human beings and all sorts of beings come about because of the karma they have made individually. Each person reaps his own fruits. So if one person is touched by short life, sickliness, ugliness, insignificance, poverty, low birth, or stupidity, and one does not like these things, no need to just accept that that is the way it is. The future need not be like that, provided that one makes the right kind of karma now. Knowing what karma to make and what not to make is the mark of a wise man. It is also the mark of one who no longer drifts aimlessly, but has some direction in life and control over the events that will occur. So, we all plan for retirement. Well, we should plan, that's just the financial part. We should plan for a long life. We should plan for beauty. We should plan for good rebirth. There's a lot more things that we want to cover. And of course, meditating is a big part of that. And morality is another part of that. And generosity is another part of that. And that's how we're going to get to that goal of not just having enough money, but having everything else, not being sick, having a long life, being healthy. So the first thing is that you want to think about is Sila. It's morality. And what is morality? It is following the 5 precepts. And we know what the 5 precepts are. That is refraining and killing and harming living creatures, refraining from taking what is not given or stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct, undertaking the precept to refrain from harsh or false speech, undertaking the precept to refrain from intoxicating drinks and drugs which lead to carelessness. So what are the benefits of following the 5 precepts? There are these 5 gifts. This is called the 5 faultless gifts from the Anguttara Nikaya 8.39. Original, long-standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated from the beginning, that are not open to suspicion, will never be open to suspicion, and are unfaulted by knowledgeable contemplatives and Brahmins. Which 5 are these 5 gifts? There is the case where a disciple of the noble ones, abandoning the taking of life, abstains from taking life. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings, he gains a share in limitless freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression. This is the first gift, the first great gift. Original, long-standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated from the beginning, that is not open to suspicion, will never be open to suspicion, and is unfaulted by knowledgeable contemplatives and Brahmins. So when you don't take life, and people know that you don't take life, you're no longer a danger to them. And they are not afraid of you. And you become somebody that they are okay to be around. You become a friend. And so, as you do that, you also gain the benefit of them becoming your friends, because they're not afraid of you, they're not defensive, then you become their friends. So you become friendly with all beings. The second great gift. Furthermore, abandoning taking what is not given, stealing. The disciple of the noble ones abstains from taking what is not given. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings, he gains a share in the limitless freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, and freedom from oppression. This is the second gift. So just as long as you don't steal from others, they understand this and they trust you. And then they become your friends and they trust you with their things. And it just goes back and forth. A third thing, furthermore, abandoning illicit sex. The disciple of the noble ones abstains from illicit sex. And what is illicit sex? It is basically adultery. Messing around with somebody else's partner and not saying anything about it, or messing around with somebody who's too young or under the protection of parents. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, and so on to limitless numbers of beings. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, this is the third gift. And you're trusted when you don't fool around and you're loyal and you maintain your relationship. People trust you and you develop a reputation of trust. The fourth, furthermore, abandoning lying. The disciple of the noble ones abstains from lying. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, and so on. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings, he gains a share in limitless freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, and freedom from oppression. This is the fourth gift. So abandon lying. Lying is saying things that are not true. And even white lies. You have to be careful, just even jokes. You make sure that the person, if you're joking with somebody, make sure they know that you're joking. Just no lying at all is the best way to do this. Furthermore, abandoning the use of intoxicants. The disciple of the noble ones abstains from taking intoxicants. In doing so, he gives freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of being. In giving freedom from danger, freedom from animosity, freedom from oppression to limitless numbers of beings, he gains a share in limitless freedom from danger, and so on. This is the fifth gift, the great gift, original, long-standing, traditional, ancient, unadulterated from the beginning, that is not open to suspicion and that will never be open to suspicion and is unfaulted by knowledgeable contemplatives and Brahmins. So you develop the trust of other people. They look up to you. You become somebody who becomes wise. You become the wise person and not the fool. So that's the benefits of precepts. There's a list of benefits of precepts I couldn't come up with immediately. There are benefits to following precepts in that you will not die from an accident, and I can't remember all of them. So that means you're going to live until the expiration of your karma for this lifetime. You're not going to die in an accident. You're not going to die in a car crash. You may have a car crash, and you may get a little bit hurt, but you're going to be fine. So another benefit is that anybody follows the 5 precepts and has made this vow to death, that they will end up in a deva loka, a heavenly world. That if you're following 5 precepts, you will not be reborn lower than the human realm. And I would think it does say heavenly realm, so you bypass even the human realm and go right directly to a heavenly realm. Not a Brahma loka, not the ones where you need to have jhana, but to a heavenly realm. And there are 6 of those, 6 heavenly realms, and differentiated by, the amount of merit that you have. Another benefit of following the precepts, many of the benefits I think were probably listed here. So that's Sila. And that's something that you've been doing every day. You've been saying these precepts to yourself and trying to get them into your mind. So you should take the precepts with the idea of taking them all the way until you die. You make a vow, I will follow these precepts until I die. And that's, and even after that. And if you do break a precept, these are training rules. They're not, God is not going to reach down with a thunderbolt. It's, you just take the precepts again, you forgive yourself for having broken something, and you make another vow that you'll follow the precepts forever and continue. And the benefit of following the precepts is also your meditation will be wholesome and guilt-free, no remorse, and your mind will be tranquil. So that's another benefit of the precepts. And also another benefit of the precepts is what is happening is you're developing wholesome states. When you're not breaking precepts, you're not creating more hindrances to 6R. Because every hindrance that comes up is because in the past there's been a break of a precept. You've done something that's caused some guilt. So when you follow precepts, you're now clearing the path. You're purifying the mind from here on out. Doesn't mean like tomorrow you'll have no hindrances at all, but gradually they'll disappear, and your meditation will become better. So the second pillar of the Dhamma, which is 3 pillars, these 3, is dana, and that's generosity. Now, before you think that generosity, developing that is just getting money back, that's not it at all. In the Anguttara Nikaya 5.256, there is, without abandoning these 5 qualities, one is incapable of entering and remaining in the first jhana. Now, there's 5 qualities that are talked about here as to stinginess. Stinginess as to one's monastery or lodgings. In other words, somebody needs a place to stay, you give it to them. You take care of people in your household. Stinginess as to one's family of supporters. If people need help, you give them help. Stinginess as to one's gains. In other words, you share, you don't take credit for everything. You share credit. And this, you could get into a big talk probably on what stinginess is here, but I don't want to do that. Stinginess as to one's status. You don't take credit for things. You give other people credit and give them status. And stinginess as to the Dhamma. In other words, if people want to know something about the Dhamma, you teach it to them. If you want to create a group of people, a sitting group, then do it. Now, the benefit of that kind of giving is that you are now able to enter and remain in the first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, the fourth jhana, incapable, I'll change this, capable of realizing the fruit of stream entry, the fruit of once returning, the fruit of non-returning, and arahatship. So by not being stingy with the things that you control, you can stay in these states. It develops them. So that's benefit of generosity. That's one of the big ones for meditation. And in the Dhammapada 223, it says, conquer stinginess with a gift. So if somebody is angry at you, give them something. Make it appropriate. But give them something to show that you're not angry back at them. Maybe do a little something for them. When you're not sure about visiting somebody you haven't seen for a while, or you're not sure on what footing you are with them, take them something. whatever is appropriate, just a little something. And so when they see you for the first time and you're handing them something, what their mind goes is to, wow, this is a great person. Look at this. They're giving me a gift. Instead of they're scoping you out, you're scoping them out. Just open the door to a wholesome interaction. There are 5 rewards of generosity. 1 is dear and appealing to people at large. 1 is admired by good people. 1's good name is spread about. 1 does not stray from the rightful duties of the householder. And with the breakup of the body at death, 1 reappears in a good destination in the heavenly worlds. That's from the Anguttara Nikaya 5.35. And then if beings knew as I know the results of giving and sharing, they would not eat without having given, nor would the stain of miserliness overcome their minds. Even if it were their last bite, their last mouthful, they would not eat without having shared, if there were someone to receive their gift. So giving, generosity, helps the meditation. Eventually you get the benefit of your generosity back, and your financial needs are taken care of, or you get what you need. So that's another part of being successful in life. And then we have bhavana, which is what we've been doing for the last week and a quarter or so, and that's meditation. It's working on our meditation, which leads to panya, which is wisdom. And there's no reason to define that. I think we all know what meditation is. And so keeping all this in mind, what we have just gone through and starting to explore is the 37 requisites of enlightenment. And what these requisites are, and we're not going to get into them, is the way to become an arhat, and all of the things that are needed by being mindful, by using right effort. What are the 4 bases of mental power? How do you develop a power to stay with your object of meditation? How do you develop the power of generosity? And then there's the faculties. These are very similar to the powers. And then how do they become powers versus faculties? Power means it's completely, it's successful. It's developed perfectly. And then the 7 factors of enlightenment. The 7 things that you need in the practice when you're in that quiet mind, the balance of those, which is mindfulness, the investigation of what's arising, joy, effort, or energy. It's not trying, it's energy. It's taking interest. Mindfulness we did. Concentration or collectedness, and equanimity. And I'm sure I left out a few others, but what's that? Tranquility. Okay, good. There we go. And what does this all boil down to? It boils down to the 6 R's. And the 6 R's is the key to this whole thing. Just letting go, and anything that's unwholesome, there's your right effort, is letting go of, I'm getting texted here. Letting go of anything unwholesome and replacing it with something wholesome, which is a smile, or bringing up loving kindness, or bringing up joy, or bringing up something good. So there's the development of the meditation. And through the development of the meditation, you learned what dependent origination is. And dependent origination is how your mind works, how everything arises. And dependent origination has 12 links in it. And I think all of you know, because you hopefully have seen the videos of what all of those links are. And it starts with the fact of suffering. And suffering is caused by aging and death. Aging and death is caused by birth. I'm going backwards now. Birth is caused by habitual tendencies, bhava, becoming. Being is also this. Clinging. Clinging is caused by craving. Craving is caused by feeling. Feeling is caused by contact from the six sense bases, nama-rupa, mentality and materiality, consciousness, formations, and ignorance. So these 12 links are how the mind arises at every moment. Matter of fact, billions of times a second. There are always mental processes that are happening. Now, the one thing, and what you want to do now after the retreat, is pay attention to how these are arising in your daily life. You have craving, you see some ice cream. You have a feeling, oh, that's really good. And then you have a desire, oh, I want it. And then you have clinging, oh, I wonder where I could get some ice cream. And maybe, I kind of like a particular flavor. And that's where you're into becoming or being. Well, I'm somebody who likes chocolate ice cream. I wonder if I could find some chocolate ice cream. And then birth, you get in your car, and you go to the store and you get it. And then you eat it and then you grow old and you die. Eventually. And that causes suffering. And it's all from ice cream. No, it's not all from ice cream. And through ignorance, you keep doing this over and over again. You always think that the ice cream is the key to pleasure, but unfortunately it disappears and you grow old and you die every time through billions of births. So what does suffering lead to? Well, this is the transcendental arising. This is the other links of dependent origination. This is 11 more links. So somebody who has suffered says, how do I get out of suffering? Well, they start looking around and maybe they find the Buddha's path and they find a video on YouTube of Bhante, and they say, that could be something that I could try. And they develop some faith. And so then they start to work on that. And they say, this could work for me, contentment. And then joy arises. And then tranquility. And then bliss arises. I mean, these are now the jhanas. We're going into the jhanas and finally samadhi, which is the jhanas itself. And from jhanas, wisdom develops. And then disenchantment with everything arises. And finally, I'm giving it up. I don't care about it anymore. Dispassion and deliverance, which is letting go of the fetters and letting go of mind and cessation, and the mind stops and Nibbana arises. And that is the unbinding of this whole circle of suffering. So you have the 12 links and you have the next 11 links. And there's a sutta called the Upanisa Sutta, which goes through this. This is not talked about very often, but it's a very important sutta. So what you guys have been doing is this part right here all week. You've been unbinding your mind from the fetters, from the hindrances. Now, let's see. So how do you go about doing all this after your retreat? So your daily taking, what is that? The daily taking of the precepts, of keeping in mind you're always going to be following your morality. And that's so important. And it's so easy. It's so easy. The more, a little bit harder on this one is like people like to have a glass of wine, and it's true, wine really is good. And I used to live near Napa Valley, and so does Terry, and we have all these wonderful vineyards, and it's too bad to give up a nice Cabernet. But you know what? It's okay. I gave it up. I tried the non-alcoholic wine. It didn't work. It was ridiculous. It's like juice. And so that was it. No more alcohol of any kind. And it's really a relief. You don't worry about it anymore. Daily giving. So this is generosity. So how can you give more? How can you share more things? How can you make gifts to other people? The biggest gift is the gift of the Dhamma. So if you get people together, that leads to great benefits for you. If you give to the Sangha, if you give food and alms to the Sangha, to the Sangha of monks and nuns headed by the Buddha, that is incredibly powerful gifts. And it's not just money that you're going to get back. It's your meditation will benefit. So always giving to the monastics, wherever they are. If there's Buddhist in your local area, in your mind, make a gift to the Sangha. They are parts of the Sangha. And the third thing is daily sitting. Sit as much as you can. As Bhante would always say, hey, it's up to you. You know, we can't tell you how long to sit. Although I will say that if you want to keep where you are going, 2 hours a day is probably the right amount of time, 2 hours of sitting. But of course, it's hard to do that much. So at least get your 30 minutes to an hour in every day, though. Even it's not going to go great some days, but some days all of a sudden the meditation will just come together. And all that sitting before it will all ripen. And you'll get an insight, or you'll get into a different jhana, or you'll have something wonderful happen. The least benefit of the sitting every day, if you sit in the morning, maybe sit after breakfast, get some energy going, get some food in you, is that after that sitting, you're going to feel great. You're going to be rested. If your mind has gone somewhat deep, all the thoughts and things will disappear, and you'll just be tranquil, alert, clear, full of energy. So sitting has a lot of benefits. Now, I will be following up with an email where I can show you some post-retreat resources, which we have, which will look like something like, that. Let's see here, get this out of the way. Something like this. We have a page under retreats and sessions for post-retreat resources. And there's some guided meditations, forgiveness resources, podcasts. We are on every podcast there is, pretty much, all the big ones. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Podbean. It distributes out everywhere. So you can always be listening to talks. Bhante's YouTube channel, Facebook, which, nobody's very much interested in Facebook that much these days. I don't post very much there, but we have it. There's books, audios, and of course we have continuing online retreats that are going on, and maybe 6 months from now you'll want to refresh your practice and do an online retreat. And of course we have our on-site retreats, which are open for this year. And the first retreat is going to be kind of special because it's going to be a monastic retreat where only people wanting to do a temporary ordination, where you get your head shaved and you go into robes, will be allowed to do this retreat. And then we have, Delson will be doing 3 retreats. I'll be doing a few, and Drew and Kin Ma has been invited to do a retreat. And I'm still kind of looking for somebody to do this one, but I might end up doing it. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to be doing retreats until November. So starting in April. And we have downloads. You go to the support page, there's a ton of stuff on that. And if you want to learn chanting, you can learn chanting. We have all of that too.
you.